And someone needs to remind former Mayor Giuliani that falsely reporting a crime is a crime. And from what he stated about being punched in the head, felt like a bullet, what he stated, there was a lot of creativity. And I think the district attorney he has the wrong person that he's investigating. To falsely report a crime is a crime. If that video wasn't there, then this person would have been charged with punching the former mayor. He would have been charged with all of these offenses that did not materialize. I saw that video.
Okay, that is New York Mayor Eric Adams. Notoriously loves the police, former police chief himself. When a guy who is that wedded to tough on crime politics and policies and the police is telling you that maybe you falsely reported a crime, you know that what happened was sad. Like, you know that you're on the wrong side here. Because Eric Adams would use any excuse to make his tough on crime policies even tougher, right? Tough on crime, in quotation marks. But no, he's obviously talking about Rudy Giuliani, who was patted on the back by a worker, maybe lightly shoved. Here we have the video again. Little boom. Oh, I love the rub. That's my favorite part. Oh, the former mayor. He was minimally slapped on the back by worker Daniel Gill, who worked at the grocery store. Daniel Gill had been charged with second-degree assault, a felony in the immediate aftermath of the episode, but prosecutors later reduced the charges to third-degree assault, a misdemeanor, third-degree menacing, and second-degree harassment. So menacing, harassment, these are misdemeanors, they're not felonies. You got Eric Adams there saying, nah, they're actually just prosecuting the wrong person. It should be Rudy Giuliani that they're going after for falsely reporting the crime. Jayar, just initial thoughts on that?
Yeah, so this is the thing. I think also part of this is because Rudy Giuliani has turned this into a campaign slogan and a speech even. And as we know last night, I'm not sure if you're gonna get to, but the whole point about this is to promote Andrew Giuliani, his son, who was running for governor of the state. But he lost last night. But another part about this, there was the Patriot Takes tweeted out this event where Giuliani spoke about the same thing again at a different event, saying, so he came behind me and he pushed me over, but I'm actually a really good in shape 78-year-old. And I was like, oh, so this has turned to a campaign pitch. This has turned to a speech. It's a stump speech now. And if nothing else, again, it goes to the heart of what many conservative Republicans that are running for office have. Nothing. It's just straight up telling stories about how you've been assaulted, how you're a victim, how we have to go after that person, this person, because look, it's always us. They're coming for us. They could have killed me. An elderly man in New York that could have been killed from getting shoved and his head hit the ground. I remember there was this guy in Buffalo during the protests in 2020. He got shoved over by Buffalo police and his head cracked against the concrete. Were we concerned about him in these conservative circles? They weren't, because that doesn't win elections. That's all they care about.
And Mayor Eric Adams, who, by the way, not the former police chief. I apologize, I misspoke. But he was a captain and was a police officer, a police captain. He has no qualms with the police doing this kind of violence, right? This is obviously Eric Adams trying to score a few political points against Republicans, against Trump, and against Giuliani. But in this case, I'm like, have at it. I don't care. That's hilarious, because we should all be dunking on Giuliani, who was fuming at the lowering of the charges. So Mr. Giuliani, 78, fumed during an online news conference about the lowering of the charges, saying, what the hell is this DA doing, letting him out of jail? He claimed the footage was deceptive because it just shows the hand on my back. But I didn't fall down, Mr. Giuliani said. I could have. If I fell down, who knows? This little punk isn't gonna hurt me, he added. The mafia threatened to kill me twice, which, what? Sorry, what are we talking about right now? The mafia, say more about the mafia stuff. Why did they threaten to kill you twice? What is going on? Did you guys have a little thing going? Like, why this drunk, erratic, senile man is just, there's no way to cut it. It was a pat on the back. You didn't fall down. There's no way you could have fallen down.
Well, it's one of those things. So somebody did something, you're upset about it. Fine, cool. I get it. There was an intimidating pat on the back, and hey, what's up, scumbag? I think is what he called him. It's at least what the retelling of the story said that he called him in that whole process. But if you're so mad, because then, by the way, I think the mom must have threatened him because he was prosecuting back in the day, and you get a confrontation or an interaction like this, and then you're incensed because we couldn't get to the point of making sure this guy gets arrested and first degree felony charges. You're campaigning on the story, bro. I don't think he understands how this works. If you're campaigning on the story about how badly you've been injured, they might think that you're just using this for campaigning about how you got, I guess, aggressively approached to a small degree.
No, and
these
and
are people
does
that are
anyone,
used to getting their way.
For sure, but like, let me ask you, does anyone who is in the Trump circle, who is a Trump loyalist, have less Trumpian clout than Rudy Giuliani? Like, I can't think of anyone who is more of a laughingstock and yet completely a loyalist. Like, Giuliani has never betrayed the president, ever, the former president, right? Never said anything negatively about Trump. But even he, just like, MAGA doesn't love him. They're not gonna follow him around to the ends of the earth. And especially not after it's like this ridiculous incident that if you keep talking about it, bro, we're gonna keep replaying that video. And now you have Eric Adams being like, I think we should investigate him for false allegations and falsely reporting a crime. And you're like, I can't believe I'm agreeing with Eric Adams right now. That makes me feel weird.
Honestly, at the beginning of it, I was thinking, oh yeah, no, it was a bit of an aggressive move, whatever. But again, you can't try to capitalize off it and think that we should continue to take it as seriously, because that, to me, it eliminates the seriousness of it.
Yeah, and way to point out the ways that, like, I don't know, the ways that small incidents get overinflated. I mean, I think this happens a lot. And again, not to make this about, I mean, what we can take away from it is the ways that, like, if you are rich and powerful, you say you were assaulted, 9 times out of 10, there's not always video evidence, and you're not already a laughing stock of the nation. And so how many times is that grocery worker gonna lose their job, be prosecuted for a felony, right? Like, over criminalizing happens all the time, and it happens, of course, in New York City, as well as so many other places.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.